Good morning, friends. Today on the Vasant Panchami and Saraswati Puja Day, we are here and we have some the life and feelings as if and in the joy and some enjoyments and celebrations mood. So with this, sometimes some type of the people used to whistle, and beautiful songs used to come out from their mouth. And this whistling is also sometimes a habit for some of the people. They keep on whistling some way, making some remarks on someone, or just enjoying themselves also. So this rubrics will, can it be a medical problem also? A habit, constitutional part? And there is a wonderful rubrics in your repertory, that is whistling. So let us examine this rubrics whistling today on this celebration day of the Vasant Panchami. This word whistling originates from the Old English twistle, means make a sharp, shrill voice sound by forcing air through the lips. Linguistically, whistling refers to a voluntary or involuntary production of the sound, usually light, repetitive, and rhythmical, with or often without verbal meaning. And there may be the verbal meaning also, but usually you don't have any meaning of one. From psychological and behavioral standpoint, whistling is not merely a motor act, it is non-verbal emotional expressions frequently associated with cheerfulness, distraction, absence of anxiety, mental detachment, and automatic or unconscious behavior. In homeopathy, whistling acquires importance when it becomes a characteristic mental expression, particularly when it is habitual, unconscious, contextual, inappropriate, and linked to emotional state rather than the musical interest. Thus, the rubrics whistling is not about music, but it is about mental disposition expressed through the sound. In repertory mind, whistling denotes a peculiar mental state where the patient whistles whistling habitually and involuntarily, and often reflecting emotional lightness, inner dissociation, nervous automations, and absence of seriousness and escape from inner stress. This rubric is subtle and often overlooked during the case taking because patient may not consider it important, and physicians may dismiss it as habit. It may occur unconsciously. However, homeopathic philosophy, not repeated expressions of the vital force, is insignificant. As per the teaching of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, peculiar, rare, and characteristic symptoms, especially mental expressions, are often the key to the simillimum. In classical homeopathy, the early masters observed non-verbal expressions as window into the inner state of the patient. Dr. Hahnemann emphasized observing the patient as a whole, including gesture, tone, habits, and involuntary acts. And through Hahnemann did not name whistling explicitly, he described automatic behavior reflecting mental imbalance and peculiar vitality. Dr. Kent gave prominence to the mental, general, and expressive behavior. In Kent repertory, whistling is placed under mind, not under throat or mouth. This placement clearly established whistling as a mental expression and not a physical act. Kent associated such behavior with childishness, emotional immaturity, nervous instability, and lack of responsibility. In Indian context, it is observational psychiatric and behavioral symptoms. Dr. B.K. Sarkar highlighted importance of small repeated behavioral fruits and it has been all linked with the behavior to developmental arrest, child ego state, and a subconscious defense mechanism. In Indian clinical setting, whistling is often observed in children with attention issue, adolescents with emotional immaturity, and adults under the stress who are use distraction as coping. In international views, psychiatry, in modern psychiatry, often consider whistling as a self-soothing behavior, a sign of emotional avoidance, a manifestation of inner dissociation, and European homeopath associated it with the hysterical state, nervous excitement, mild maniac tendency, and regression to the child behavior. Now let us have some rubrics comparison. There is a rubrics like singing, humming, laughing without cause, childish behavior, irresponsibility, absent-minded, and automatic act. Singing is conscious and expressive, and whistling is often unconscious and automatic. Laughing is emotional discharge, and whistling is emotional avoidance. Childishness is broader response personality, and whistling is a specific expressive act. So whistling is lighter, subtle, and more unconscious than singing or the laughing. The psychological interpretations of the whistling, it represents avoidance of emotional depth, distraction from responsibility, inner restlessness, need to remain light and unburdened. It is often seen when the patient feels uncomfortable with seriousness. There is anxiety masked by cheerfulness. The mind avoids confrontations. It is also taken as a defense mechanism with the denial, displacement, and regression, and it allows the mind to express inner tension, maintain emotional distance, and avoid verbalizations of conflict. The clinical features, the patient expressions. Patient may whistle while answering the serious question, whistles unconsciously during the consultation, and whistle even in the appropriate situations. They often say, I don't realize I am doing it. It just happened. It keeps my mind light. And then non-verbal expressions, light tone of speech, avoidance of emotional topic, and smiling without depth, and superficial cheerfulness. These patients rarely complain emotionally, yet their behavior reveals inner imbalance. So miasmatic understanding of this rubric is psychotic mind, it is dominant, masking of inner pathology, avoidance of confrontations, artificial cheerfulness, and habitual behavior. Whistling here is a covering mechanism. Soric, there are lightness, nervousness, innocence, and distraction. And tubercular miasm is occasional, restless, desire for movement and change, and expressive but shallow import. Important remedies under this rubric is sulfur, whistling absent-mindedly, philosophical yet careless, neglectful of seriousness and Alzheimer's, inappropriate behavior, whistling with laughter, nervous excitement, maniac or hysterical state. And stramonium, whistling with the fearlessness, excitable mental state, and impulsive behavior. Calcarea calf, whistling as a nervous habit, and childhood insecurity and fear marked by the routine behavior. Phosphorus, emotional openness with light distraction, and whistling to avoid loneliness, and sensitive but expressive. In the case patient, how you can observe this patient, you have to note the unconscious action, observe during silence, and watch emotional transitions. Then you can ask some questions. Do you notice any habit when you are tense? What do you do when you feel uncomfortable? Has anyone commented on this behavior? So these are some of the questions that you can make. So clinical importance is that whistling becomes highly significant when it is habitual, it is unconscious, it appears during emotional stress. In contrast with the patient of the life situations. Now, The clinical applications and differentiation, whistling should never be used alone but as a confirmatory mental symptom, a characteristic expression of the vital force. It is especially valuable in pediatric cases, psychiatric cases, psychosomatic disorder, and cases with the poor verbal emotionals. So, whistling represents a subtle yet powerful mental expression of the patient of the inner state. It reflects emotional avoidance, nervous automations, childish or defensive coping, masked anxiety or irritability. In true homeopathic practice, such small expressions often reveal deepest truth of the patient's suffering. As taught by Master Hahnemann, that simillimum often lies hidden not in what the patient says, but in what the patient unconsciously does. So, recognizing, understanding, and correctly interpreting in whistling elevates case taking from mechanical questionings to artful observations and fulfilling the highest ideal of the homeopathy. So, friends, this is very important, it seems to be, and often we see this type of the patient. So, let us, with this, I close my sessions today, conclude my sessions today, and we'll come back again with the new rubrics. If you want to listen me in Hindi also, you can go to my Facebook or you can visit my YouTube also, where there are many more rubrics. So with this, I thank you very much, and we'll come back again with next rubrics. Thank you very much.